I was paid to pretend to love her, but no one told me what happens when it stops being fake. It all started with a simple offer. "I need a boyfriend." That's what she said. No smile, no emotion. Just cold, direct, like she was hiring someone for a job. I almost laughed. "Go find a real one." But she didn't even blink. "I don't need real. I need convincing." Then she pushed an envelope across the table. Money. A lot of it. For a second, I just stared at it. This wasn't normal. Nothing about this felt right. "Why me?" I asked. She looked straight into my eyes, like she already knew the answer. "Because you look like someone who doesn't believe in love." I didn't respond, because she wasn't wrong. I should have walked away right there, but life doesn't always give you that choice. That night, I went home, if you can even call it that. Bills piled up on the table. Silence filled the room, and reality hit harder than any pride I had left. I needed the money, so the next day, I went back. "I'll do it." She didn't smile, not even a little. "Good, then we start tomorrow." Just like that, I sold myself into a relationship that wasn't real, or at least, that's what I thought. "There are rules," she said. "No feelings, no questions about my personal life, and no unnecessary contact." I smirked a little. "Sounds easy." She stepped closer, her eyes colder than before. "It's not." And somehow, I believed her. We started practicing, walking side by side, talking like we've known each other for years, even holding hands. Though at first it felt forced, awkward, fake, but something about it started to change. The way she looked at me sometimes, it didn't feel like acting, and that's when I realized she wasn't just cold. She was hiding something. Then one moment changed everything. Her phone rang. The second she saw the screen, her expression shifted. Just for a second, but I saw it. Fear. "Who was that?" I asked. She locked her phone immediately. "Don't break the rules." Just like that, the wall went back up, cold, untouchable, like nothing happened. But something did. Because now I knew this wasn't just a fake relationship. There was something else going on, something she wasn't telling me. Then suddenly, she grabbed my hand. This time, it wasn't awkward. It felt natural, too natural. She leaned closer and whispered softly, "Tomorrow, you're meeting my family." I frowned. "That fast?" She looked straight at me. "And they're going to believe you're in love with me." And for the first time, I wasn't sure if I was still pretending. I thought pretending would be easy. I was wrong. The next day, everything felt different. This wasn't practice anymore. This was real. At least for everyone else. "Stay close to me," she said before we entered. "Don't hesitate. Don't look nervous. And whatever happens, don't break character." I nodded, but my chest felt tight. This wasn't just a meeting. This was a test. The door opened, and the moment we stepped inside, I felt it. Eyes everywhere, judging, watching, measuring every move I made. Her family, and they didn't look easy to fool. She suddenly held my arm. Not gently, but firmly, like she needed me there. "Relax," she whispered. But her grip told a different story. She was nervous too. Interesting, a woman like her afraid? "Finally," someone said from across the room. A man stood up, older, sharp-clad, the kind of person who doesn't trust easily. Her father. "So this is the man," he said, looking straight at me. Not welcoming, not warm, just testing. I forced a small smile. "Nice to meet you, sir." He didn't respond immediately, just kept staring, like he was trying to see through me. And for a second, I thought he could. "Sit," he said coldly. We sat. Dinner started, but it didn't feel like dinner. It felt like an interrogation. "So," her father continued, "how did you two meet?" I glanced at her for a split second. She didn't look at me. No help, no signal, nothing. So I spoke. "By accident," I said calmly. "And I guess I got lucky." Her father smirked slightly. "Lucky?" I nodded. "She's not easy to approach." For the first time, I saw something change. Not in him, in her, just a small reaction, but it was there. Dinner went on. Questions kept coming, sharp, direct, dangerous. But I held it together. Every answer, every movement, every glance had to feel real. And somehow, it did. Then suddenly, someone else spoke. A voice from the other side of the table. Is he better than the last one? Silence. The air shifted instantly. I looked at her. Her expression changed. Completely cold, but this time not controlled. Tense. Enough, she said quietly. But it was too late. The damage was done. The room felt heavier, and I realized something important. I wasn't the first. There was someone before me. And whatever happened didn't end well. After dinner, I finally had a moment alone with her. What was that? I asked. She walked past me. Nothing you need to worry about. I grabbed her wrist. Not hard, but enough to stop her. You said no lies, but you didn't say no secrets. She slowly turned back, her eyes colder than ever. This is exactly why I said no questions. For a moment, we just stared at each other. Tension, real tension. Not acting, not fake. Then she pulled her hand away. Don't forget why you're here, she said. Just do your job. Job, right. That's all this was supposed to be. So why did that bother me? Why did it feel like I was already too deep into something I didn't understand? Then suddenly, her phone rang again. Same reaction. Same shift in her face. Fear. This time, I saw it clearly. She walked away to answer it. But I didn't follow. I just stood there, thinking. This wasn't normal. This wasn't just about family pressure. There was something bigger. Something she was hiding from everyone, even from me. A few minutes later, she came back. Calm again, like nothing happened. Like always. We're leaving, she said. No explanation, no emotion, just control. But as we walked out, she reached for my hand again. And this time, I didn't pull away, because now I wasn't just pretending anymore. I was starting to want answers. And the more I stayed, the more dangerous this was becoming. I told myself this was just a job. Nothing more. Just act, get paid, and leave. But after that night, it didn't feel that simple anymore. The next morning, she called me. Come over. We need to fix something. Fix something? When I arrived, she was already there. Calm, perfect like always. Like last night never happened. You made a mistake, she said. I frowned. What mistake? She stepped closer. Last night, you looked at me too long. I almost laughed. That's the problem? Yes, she said without hesitation. You're starting to forget this isn't real. I crossed my arms. Or maybe you're the one acting too real. For a second, she didn't respond. And that silence said more than words ever could. Then she turned away. We need clearer rules. Rules. Right. Like that would fix anything. No feelings, she said. I nodded. Already said that. No curiosity, she continued. No asking about my life. No trying to understand me. That one felt personal. And one more thing, she added. No jealousy. I smirked. Why would I be jealous? She looked at me, straight into my eyes. You will be. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she walked past me like nothing happened. But something had changed. Because now, it felt like she was warning me. Not controlling me, warning me. We spent the rest of the day training again. Conversations, gestures, eye contact. Everything had to look natural, perfect, convincing. But the more we practiced, the less it felt like acting. At one point, she grabbed my hand again, same as before. But this time, neither of us let go. No instructions, no reason, just silence. And something else, something neither of us wanted to admit. Then suddenly, she stepped back. Too quickly, like she realized something. Don't do that again, she said. Do what? She looked away. Nothing. But it wasn't nothing, and we both knew it. Later that day, we went out in public. A café. Crowded. Normal. For the first time, we weren't practicing. We were performing. People looked at us, and they believed it. We looked like a real couple. Effortless. Comfortable. Close. Too close. Then it happened. A man approached our table. Confident. Well-dressed. And the moment she saw him, everything changed. Her expression froze. Not cold this time. Shocked. You didn't tell me you were back, she said quietly. So this was him. The one from last night. The before me. He smiled. I didn't think I needed permission. Then he looked at me. Up and down. Judging. And this must be the replacement. I felt it instantly. Tension. Real tension. I leaned back slightly. Something like that. He chuckled. Careful. he said, looking at her. You always get bored quickly. Silence, heavy silence. She stood up. We're leaving. But before we could move, he said one more thing. You didn't tell him? She stopped, slowly turned back. Tell him what? He smiled again. Cold. Why you really need a fake boyfriend. My eyes shifted to her, waiting, expecting. But she didn't answer. And that silence told me everything. I wasn't here just to pretend. I was here for a reason she still refused to tell me. And the worst part? I was all ready to involve to walk away. I should have walked away that day, when he looked at me like I was nothing more than a replacement. When she stayed silent, like I didn't deserve the truth. But I didn't. And that was my first mistake. We left the cafe without saying a word. The silence between us felt heavier than anything he said. What did he mean? I finally asked. She kept walking. Nothing. I let out a small laugh. That's the second time you've said that. She stopped, slowly turned to face me. This is exactly why I made the rules. I stepped closer, and this is exactly why your rules don't make sense. For a moment, we just stood there, tension building, not fake, not part of the act, real. You're hiding something, I said, and whatever it is, it's the reason I'm here. Her eyes shifted slightly. Not anger, not coldness, something else. Fear. You're here because I'm paying you, she replied. Sharp, controlled, but weaker than before. I shook my head. No, I'm here because you need me. That hit her. I saw it. For the first time, she didn't have an answer. Then suddenly, her phone rang again. That same number. That same reaction. Her face changed instantly. Pale, tense. She looked at me, like she wanted to say something. But didn't. Instead, she turned away and answered the call. I couldn't hear everything, but I heard enough. No, not here. I said I'll handle it. Stop calling me. Her voice was different. Not cold, not in control, almost desperate. Then she hung up, took a deep breath, and when she turned back to me, the mask was back on. Perfect again, like nothing happened. We're done for today, she said, just like that. No explanation, no emotion, just distance. She walked away, and for a second, I almost let her. But something stopped me. Maybe curiosity, maybe something worse. I caught up and grabbed her arm. Who are you afraid of? She froze, not pulling away this time. Not immediately. I'm not afraid of anyone, she said quietly. I stepped closer. Then why do you look like you are? Silence. Her eyes met mine. And this time, she didn't look away. Seconds passed, long enough to feel something shift. Then suddenly, she leaned forward and hugged me. Not planned, not part of the act. Real. I didn't move at first, because I knew this wasn't for show. This wasn't for anyone else. This was for her. Her grip tightened slightly, like she didn't want to let go. Like for once, she wasn't in control. And in that moment, I understood something. She wasn't just hiding a secret. She was running from something. And somehow, I was now part of it. After a few seconds, she pulled away. Too fast, like she realized what she just did. Forget that, she said quickly. That didn't happen. I stared at her. You're really bad at following your own rules. She didn't respond, just turned away again. But this time, something was different. Because now, I didn't see her as someone cold. I saw someone scared, and for some reason, that made me want to stay even more. Which was a problem, because this was never supposed to be real. But it was starting to feel like it. And I had a feeling this was only the beginning. I told myself I was still in control, that I could walk away anytime. But the truth? I stopped believing that the moment she held me like she actually needed me. And things only got worse after that. The next event came sooner than I expected. Another dinner, another room full of people pretending everything was perfect. Stay close, she said before we walked in. But this time, I didn't need to be told. I was already right next to her, watching, paying attention, not because of the job, but because I wanted to, and that was the problem. The moment we entered, I felt it again. Eyes on us, whispers, judgment, but this time something else was waiting. Him, he was already there, leaning casually, like he belonged, like he had nothing to prove. Unlike me. Well, this is getting interesting, he said as we approached. She didn't respond. Didn't even look at him, but I could feel the tension in her hand. She was holding me tighter than before. Not for show, for comfort. And I didn't pull away. Still playing the same game? He continued. I stepped slightly forward. Is there a problem? He smiled. Not friendly. Never friendly. No, he said. Just wondering how long this one will last. That hit. Harder than I expected. And I didn't like it. Not one bit. Before I could respond, someone else joined the conversation. A woman. Elegant. Confident. Too confident. She walked straight toward me. Ignored her completely. You must be new, she said, smiling at me. I nodded slightly. Something like that. She got closer. Closer than necessary. I hope you know what you're getting into, she whispered. Then her eyes shifted to her. And the smile changed. Sharper, almost like a warning. Then she walked away, just like that. I looked at her. What was that? She didn't answer. Didn't even look at me. But I saw it again. That same expression. Tension, fear, and something else. Jealousy. Wait, jealousy? That didn't make sense. She was the one who made the rules. No feelings, no attachment. So why did she look like that? The rest of the night only got worse. He kept watching us. Every move, every touch, like he was waiting for something to break. And maybe he was right. Because at one point, he stepped closer again. Too close. You really think this is going to work? He said quietly. I didn't answer. Didn't need to. Because this time, she did. She stepped in front of me, blocking him. This isn't your concern anymore. Her voice was calm, but sharp, final. For a second, no one moved. Then he laughed softly. That's what you said last time. And just like that, the air changed. Again, I felt her hand tighten around mine. Stronger, almost like she was holding on. Not acting, not pretending, holding on. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't jealous because of him. I was jealous because of her past. Because whatever they had, it wasn't fake. And whatever this was starting to feel real. Too real. Later that night, when everything finally ended, I stopped her before she could leave. Why him? I asked. She looked tired. For the first time, truly tired. It's complicated. I shook my head. No, you just don't want to tell me. She stepped closer. Close enough to make it hard to think. This is exactly why I said no questions. I didn't move. Too late for that. Silence. Heavy. Dangerous. Then I said something I probably shouldn't have. I don't like the way he looks at you. The moment those words left my mouth, I knew. I crossed the line. Her eyes changed instantly. Not cold. Not distant. Something deeper. Why? She asked softly. I didn't answer right away. Because I didn't have one. At least, not one I was ready to admit. Then she took a step closer. So you do feel something. Not a question. A statement. And that was the moment everything shifted. Because now, we both knew. This wasn't just a job anymore. And the worst part? Neither of us was ready to stop. I should have denied it. Played it off. Said it was nothing. But I didn't. And that was the moment everything started to fall apart. So you do feel something. Her voice was calm. Too calm. Like she already knew the answer. I looked at her. And for the first time, I didn't have a response ready. Because whatever this was, it wasn't part of the deal anymore. I'm just doing my job, I said finally. A weak answer, and we both knew it. She stepped closer, close enough to hear my breathing. Then do it properly, she said softly. Before I could react, she kissed me. Not long, not dramatic, but real, too real. And that was the problem. Because for a second, I forgot everything. The rules, the money, the reason I was here, all of it, gone. When she pulled away, her expression changed again. Back to cold, controlled, like she didn't just cross the line she created. Don't misunderstand, she said. That was part of the act. Part of the act. Right, but it didn't feel like one. Not to me, not even close. The next few days became complicated. We spent more time together. Not just for appearances, but because we had to. Events, meetings, public moments where we had to look perfect. And we did. Too perfect. We laughed. We talked. We moved like a real couple. And people believed it. But the problem wasn't them. The problem was, I started believing it too. And she knew. I could see it in the way she watched me sometimes. Like she was measuring how far I'd fall. And maybe how far she already had. Then it happened. Something I didn't expect. We were supposed to meet her father again. Same house, same pressure. But this time, something was off. The moment we walked in, I felt it. Tension, not the usual kind. Something worse. Her father wasn't alone. He was there. And so was the woman from before. And this time, they weren't just watching. They were waiting. For you, her father said calmly. She stopped walking. Her grip on my hand tightened instantly. What is this? She asked. Her father didn't answer. He just looked at the man. And that's when I understood. This wasn't a meeting. This was a setup. You've had your time, the man said, stepping forward, his voice confident. Certain. It's over. Silence. Heavy, crushing. I looked at her, waiting, but she didn't move, didn't speak. Nothing. You're coming back, he continued. Whether you like it or not. That was it. That was the moment everything made sense. This wasn't about pretending. This wasn't about family pressure. She wasn't just hiding something. She was trapped, and I was standing right in the middle of it. I stepped forward slightly. Does she get a choice? I asked. Everyone turned to me. Her father's expression darkened. This doesn't concern you. Maybe he was right. Maybe it didn't, but I was already too far in. It does if you're forcing her, I said. The man laughed softly. You really think you matter here? I didn't answer. Because honestly, I didn't know. But I knew one thing. She didn't want this. I could feel it in the way she held my hand. Not for show. Not for the act. She was holding on. Then suddenly, she spoke. I'm not going back. Her voice was quiet, but firm. For the first time, she wasn't hiding. She wasn't acting. She was choosing, and everything changed. Because now, this wasn't just her problem anymore. It was ours. She said it clearly. I'm not going back. And just like that, everything changed. The room went silent. Not the kind of silence you can ignore. The kind that feels like something is about to break. Her father's expression hardened. You don't get to decide that. But she didn't move. Didn't look away. For the first time since I met her, she stood her ground. I already did. That wasn't the same woman who hired me. This was different. Stronger, and somehow, more real. The man stepped closer. Slow, confident, like he had all the power. You're making this difficult, he said. She didn't respond. But I felt her hand tighten around mine. Not shaking, not weak, just holding on. And that was enough for me. I stepped forward. Not as an actor, not as someone being paid, but as someone who chose to stand there. She already answered you. The moment I said that, I felt it. Every eye in the room turned to me. Her father didn't look surprised, just disappointed, like I was exactly what he expected. A stranger, he said calmly, playing a role he doesn't understand. Maybe he was right, but I didn't step back. Maybe, I replied, but at least I'm not forcing her into something she doesn't want. The air shifted instantly. Sharp, dangerous. The man laughed again. You think this is about what she wants? He stepped even closer, close enough to make it personal. This is bigger than you. Probably true, but I didn't care anymore. Then explain it, I said. Silence. No answer. Because they weren't used to being questioned, especially not by someone like me. Then suddenly, she moved, stepping in front of me, protecting me this time. Stop, she said. Not loud, but enough. I won't go back. And I won't explain myself to you anymore. Her voice didn't shake. Not even a little. And for a second, no one argued. No one moved. Then her father finally spoke again. If you walk away now, he paused, letting the words sink in. Don't come back. That hit. Hard. Even I felt it. Family, status, everything, gone. Just like that. I looked at her, waiting, because this time, the choice was real. No acting. No pretending. Just her, and what she was willing to lose. Seconds passed. Heavy, long. Then she made her decision. She let go of everything, and held on to me instead. I'm leaving. Simple, final, no hesitation. And just like that, we walked out. Together. No one stopped us. But I could feel it. This wasn't over. Not even close. Once we were outside, everything felt different, quieter, but not calmer. She finally let go of my hand. And for the first time, she looked at me differently. Not like I was part of a plan. Not like I was just doing a job. Like I mattered. You shouldn't have done that, she said. I shrugged slightly. Too late. She almost smiled. Almost. You don't even know what you just got yourself into. I looked at her. Then tell me. Silence again. But this time, it wasn't cold. It was conflicted, like she wanted to, but didn't know how. Then she took a step closer, close enough to feel the tension again. If you stay, she paused. You don't get to walk away easily. I didn't respond right away, because now I understood something. This wasn't just her story anymore. It was ours, and whatever this was, it was only going to get worse. But for some reason, I didn't want to leave. I'm not going anywhere, I said. Her eyes locked into mine, searching, testing, and maybe hoping, because in that moment, we both knew. This was no longer fake, and whatever came next, we were facing it together. Walking away should have felt like freedom, but it didn't. It felt like we just started something we couldn't finish. We didn't say much after that, just drove in silence. Not the comfortable kind. The kind where both of us knew something was coming. Something bigger than both of us. Take me somewhere quiet, she finally said. Her voice was calm, too calm, like she already made a decision. I didn't ask questions, not this time. A few minutes later, we stopped. Empty place, no people, no noise, just us. She stepped out of the car first. I followed, and for the first time since I met her, she looked tired. Not physically, emotionally, like she'd been holding everything in for too long. I guess you deserve to know now, she said. There it was. The truth, or at least part of it. I stayed quiet. Let her talk. Everything you saw back there, she continued. And that's not just family. She paused, like choosing her words carefully. It's control. That word hit differently. Control, not pressure, not expectation. Control. They've already decided who I'm supposed to marry, she said. My chest tightened slightly. I already knew the answer. Him, I said. She nodded. No matter what I say, no matter what I do, she looked away. It doesn't matter to them. For a moment, I didn't know what to say, because suddenly, this wasn't just complicated, it was real and dangerous. So you hired me, I said slowly, and to break that plan. She shook her head. Not break it. She looked back at me. To delay it. That was worse. Much worse. Because that meant this wasn't a solution. I was just time. Time she was trying to buy. And eventually, time runs out. Before I could respond, her phone rang again. Same number. Same reaction. But this time, she didn't answer. She just stared at it. Like she was deciding something. Then she turned it off. Completely. No more running, she said quietly. But her eyes told a different story. Then suddenly, headlights appeared in the distance. Fast. Too fast. I frowned. Are you expecting someone? She didn't answer. And that was my answer. The car stopped right in front of us. Doors opened. And there he was. Not alone. 2 more men stepped out behind him. This wasn't a conversation anymore. This was pressure. Real pressure. You're making this harder than it needs to be, he said calmly. Like nothing happened earlier. Like he already won. She didn't move. Didn't step back. I told you. I'm not going back, he sighed. Disappointed. Then you leave me no choice. That line didn't sound like a threat. It sounded like a promise. I stepped slightly in front of her. Instinct. Nothing else. You don't get to decide that, I said. He looked at me. Annoyed now. Finally, you again, he muttered. Still pretending this matters? I didn't answer. Because at this point, it did. More than I wanted to admit. Then one of the men moved forward. Too close. Too aggressive. And that's when I realized this could turn bad. Fast. Let's not do this here, he said. Still calm. Still controlled. But dangerous. Get in the car, he added, looking at her. She didn't move. Didn't even blink. I said no. Silence. Heavy. Sharp. Then everything happened at once. 1 step forward. 1 wrong move. And suddenly, this wasn't just words anymore. I felt her grab my arm. Not to pull me back, but to hold me in place. Like she didn't want me to get hurt. Or maybe she knew I already would. Because this was the moment everything changed. No more pretending. No more acting. This was real. And whatever happened next, there was no going back. This was it. The moment everything stopped being a game. No more pretending, no more acting. Just choices and consequences. The air felt heavy. Too heavy, like one wrong move could break everything. "Get in the car," he said again. Calm. But this time, there was no patience left in his voice. She didn't move. I said no. Simple, clear, final. That should have been enough, but it wasn't. One of the men stepped forward. Closer, too close. And that's when instinct took over. I moved, not thinking, just reacting. I stepped between them, blocking his path. "You heard her," I said. "Back off." For a second, no one spoke. Then he laughed. Not amused, not impressed, just annoyed. "You really don't know when to stop, do you?" Maybe not, but I wasn't moving. Not this time. The man in front of me didn't wait. He reached out, fast, too fast, and suddenly, everything exploded. I grabbed his arm before he could touch her. Pushed him back. Hard, he stumbled. The tension snapped instantly. Another one moved, then another. And just like that, it wasn't a conversation anymore. It was a fight. Not clean, not controlled, just chaos. I felt the first hit before I even saw it coming. Sharp, direct, enough to throw me off balance. But I didn't fall. Couldn't. Because she was behind me. And that was all that mattered. I pushed forward again. Blocking, holding, buying time. But there were too many of them. And I knew it. Then suddenly, her voice. "Stop!" Loud, stronger than I've ever heard it. Everything froze. For a second. Just a second. No one moved. She stepped forward. In front of me this time. Facing them. "Enough," she said. Breathing uneven, but steady. "You want me?" She took another step. "Fine." My chest tightened. "No, that wasn't right. You don't need to do this," I said quietly. But she didn't look at me. Not yet. Her eyes were locked on him. "I'll go with you," she continued. "But he stays out of this." Silence. Cold. Calculated. He watched her carefully. Thinking. Measuring. Then slowly. He smiled. "There it is," he said. "That's the smart choice." No, that wasn't smart. That was sacrifice. And I wasn't letting that happen. I stepped forward again. "No." My voice was low, but firm. She finally turned to me. And for the first time, I saw it clearly. Fear, not for herself. For me. "Stop," she whispered. But I shook my head. "I'm not letting you go with them." Her eyes softened slightly. Just for a second. "You don't have a choice." That word again. Choice, or the lack of it. Then she did something I didn't expect. She reached out and touched my face. Gentle, careful, like she was trying to remember something, or someone. "This was never your fight," she said softly. And that hit harder than any punch, because now I understood. She was trying to protect me by walking away. I grabbed her hand, held it tight. Too late for that. Silence again. Heavy, emotional, everything at once. Then he stepped forward. Impatient now. "Time's up." The men moved again, not waiting this time. And I knew I couldn't stop all of them, not alone. But I also knew one thing. I wasn't stepping back. Not anymore. Because somewhere along the way, this stopped being a job and started becoming something real. Something I wasn't ready to lose. Even if it meant losing everything else. I thought I could stop it. I thought I could protect her. But I was wrong. Everything happened too fast. The moment they moved, I tried to hold her back. But she pulled away. Not because she wanted to leave, but because she had to. "Don't," she whispered. Her voice shaking for the first time. Not fear. Something worse. Acceptance. And I hated it. I grabbed her hand again. Stronger this time. "I'm not letting you go." She looked at me. And for a second, everything else disappeared. No people. No danger. Just us. "You don't understand," she said softly. "Then make me understand," I replied. But she didn't. She just shook her head. Slowly. Like she already knew. There was no way out. Then they stepped in. Closer. Forcing the distance between us. I pushed one of them back. Hard. But it didn't matter. There were too many. Hands pulled her away from me. And this time, I couldn't stop it. "No!" I shouted. But she didn't fight. That was the worst part. She didn't fight. She just looked at me and smiled. A small, broken smile, like she was saying goodbye. "Trust me," she said. And then she let go. Just like that. Gone. They pulled her into the car. Doors slammed. Engine roared. And in seconds, she disappeared. I stood there, frozen, not moving, not thinking, just empty. The silence after was worse than the fight. No voices, no footsteps, nothing, like everything that just happened was never real. But it was because I could still feel her hand in mine, even though she wasn't there anymore. I should have chased them. I should have done something, anything, but I didn't. Because for the first time, I realized something I didn't want to accept. I wasn't enough. Not against them. Not against whatever this was. And that broke something inside me. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. I didn't know. I just stood there, replaying everything in my head. Every word, every moment, every look she gave me, and one thing kept coming back. Trust me. Why? Why would she say that? Why leave like that? Why not fight? Unless this was part of something bigger, something I still didn't see. That thought hit me hard. Because suddenly, this didn't feel like the end. It felt like the beginning of something worse. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something told me not to. I answered. Silence. For a second, nothing. Then a voice. Low, cold. You should have stayed out of it. My grip tightened. Where is she? A pause. Then a soft chuckle. That depends. My heart started beating faster. On what? Another pause. Longer this time. On whether you're willing to walk away or make things worse. Threat. Clear. Direct. I didn't hesitate. Tell me where she is. Silence again. Then the line cut. Just like that. No answer. No clue. Nothing. I lowered the phone slowly. And for the first time, I felt it. Not confusion. Not fear. Something else. Anger. Real anger. Because now, this wasn't about money. This wasn't about a job. This wasn't even about pretending anymore. This was personal. And whoever they were, whatever they wanted, they just made one mistake. They took her. And now, I wasn't walking away. They thought I would walk away, that I'd take the money, forget everything, and disappear. They were wrong. The moment they took her, this stopped being their game. It became mine. I went back to the only place that made sense. Her house. If there was one place that held answers, it was there. The gate was still open. No guards, no cars. Too quiet, like nothing ever happened. I stepped inside. Every step felt wrong, like I wasn't supposed to be there. But I kept going. Straight to her room. Locked, of course. I didn't hesitate. One push, then another, until it gave in. The door opened. And for a moment, I just stood there. Because this was the first time I was seeing her world. For real. Not the version she showed everyone. Not the controlled one. The real one. Everything was perfect. Too perfect. Clean. Organized. Cold. Just like her. But something felt off. This wasn't just a room. It felt like a place where someone was trying not to exist. No personal photos. No memories. Nothing that showed who she really was. Like she erased herself. Or was never allowed to have one. I moved slowly. Looking. Searching. There had to be something. Anything. Then I saw it. A drawer, slightly open, barely noticeable. I pulled it. Inside was a phone. Old, not the one she always used. A second phone, hidden. That didn't feel like a coincidence. I turned it on. No password, just one message. One. That's all it took. If anything happens, don't trust them. No name, no number. Just that. My chest tightened. Because now I knew she wasn't just hiding from them. She was preparing for something. Something she knew was coming. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Behind me. Slow. Deliberate. I turned. And there he was. Her father. Standing in the doorway. Watching me. No anger. No surprise. Like he expected this. You shouldn't be here, he said calmly. I didn't move. Where is she? He stepped inside, closing the door behind him. That depends, he replied. Same words. Different tone. Colder, more dangerous. I held up the phone. She knew this would happen. For the first time, his expression changed, just slightly. But I saw it. You don't understand what you're involved in, he said. I stepped closer. Then explain it. Silence. Again. But this time, He didn't look in control. Not completely. She made her choice, he continued. And now she has to live with it. I shook my head. No, you made the choice for her. That hit harder than I expected, because this time, he didn't deny it. Instead, he looked at me differently. Not as a stranger, not as a problem, but as something else. A variable. Something he didn't plan for. You care about her, he said. Not a question. A fact. I didn't answer. Didn't need to. He already knew. That's unfortunate, he added quietly. And that was enough. Enough to tell me everything. This wasn't over. Not even close. Because whatever they were planning, whatever they were hiding, she was in the middle of it. And now, so was I. I'm not leaving without her, I said, my voice steady. No hesitation. He watched me for a long moment. Then finally, he smiled. But it wasn't a good sign. If you keep going, he paused, letting it sink in, you won't just lose her. My chest tightened. You'll lose yourself. Threat. Clear. Personnel. But this time, it didn't work, because I already made my choice. Then I guess I'm already too far in, I said. Silence filled the room. Heavy. Final. And in that moment, we both knew. This wasn't just about her anymore. This was war. This wasn't just a family problem. It never was. The moment he said that, I knew there was something bigger behind all of this. Something they were still hiding. And I was getting close to it. Too close. If you keep going, you'll lose yourself. His words echoed in my head, not as a warning, but as confirmation. Because people don't say things like that unless there's something worth hiding. I looked at him. No more games, I said. Tell me what this really is. He didn't answer right away, just walked past me, calm, controlled, like he was deciding something. Then he stopped. You think this is about forcing her into a marriage? He let out a quiet breath. It's not. That changed everything, because that was the only explanation I had. Until now. Then what is it? I asked. Silence. Then slowly, he turned back. She's not just my daughter, he said. My chest tightened. Something about that sentence felt wrong. What does that mean? Another pause. Longer this time, like he was crossing a line he couldn't take back. She's part of something you were never meant to see. That wasn't an answer. That was a warning, and I wasn't stopping. I'm already in it, I said, whether you like it or not. For a moment, he just stared at me. Then finally, he gave in. Everything around you, he gestured slightly. The money, the connections, the people you saw, he stepped closer. It's not just business. I didn't move, didn't react. But inside, everything started connecting. They're not choosing a husband for her, he continued. They're choosing control. That word again, control. But now, it meant something bigger. Control over what? I asked. He didn't answer directly. Instead, he said something worse. Over information. That hit hard, because suddenly, this wasn't personal anymore. This was power. Real power. And she was part of it, whether she wanted to be or not. She knows too much, he added quietly. And that makes her dangerous. Dangerous? To who? To them, he said, like he read my thoughts. And to herself. Silence filled the room again. But this time, it felt heavier, because now, everything made sense. The pressure, the control, the forced decisions. They weren't protecting her. They were controlling her, containing her. And the fake relationship, that was just a distraction, a delay, a way for her to breathe, even if just for a moment. Where is she? I asked again, my voice lower now, more focused. He didn't hesitate this time. Safe. I stepped closer. Safe isn't an answer. He looked at me, and for the first time, there was something real in his eyes. Not control, not power, concern. They won't hurt her, he said. But they will make sure she remembers her place. That wasn't safety. That was a cage. I tightened my grip on the phone in my hand. Then I'm getting her out. His expression changed again. Back to cold. Back to control. You can't. Simple. Certain. Final. But I didn't believe him. Not anymore. Watch me, I said. And that was the moment everything shifted again. Because now, I wasn't reacting. I was planning. And whatever this was, whatever they built, I was about to break it. Not for the money, not for the deal, but for her Because somewhere along the way, this stopped being temporary, stopped being fake, and became something real, something worth risking everything for. I didn't leave that house as the same person. Not after what I just heard. Not after I realized this was never just about her. It was about control, information, power, and she was right in the middle of it, whether she wanted it or not. You can't. That's what he said. Like this was already over. Like I had no chance. But he was wrong about one thing. I wasn't thinking like them. I wasn't playing by their rules. And that made me unpredictable, which made me dangerous. I walked out without saying another word. Not because I gave up, but because I finally understood something. If I wanted to get her back, I needed to stop reacting and start planning. The first clue was already in my hand, that second phone, the message. If anything happens, don't trust them. That wasn't fear. That was preparation. She knew this could happen, which means she left something behind, something only I was supposed to find. I turned the phone on again, looked deeper this time. There had to be more, and there was. Hidden files, encrypted, locked behind something simple. Not a password, a pattern, something personal. I stared at the screen for a moment, thinking, not numbers, not random, something only she would choose, something real. Then it hit me. The first day we met, the exact moment she pushed the money toward me. The time, I entered it, and the phone unlocked. That wasn't luck. That was intentional. She wanted me to get in. Inside, there was only one file. No name, no label, just a video. I hesitated for a second, then pressed play. The screen flickered, and then her. Not the version I knew. Not cold, not controlled, real. If you're watching this, she paused, took a breath. Then everything went wrong. My chest tightened instantly. I don't have much time, so listen carefully. Her voice was different, faster, urgent. They're not just controlling me. She looked straight into the camera. They're watching everything. That changed everything. Phones, cameras, people. She swallowed slightly. You can't trust anyone around them. Not even him. Not even her own family. Except one place. She hesitated again, like even saying it was dangerous. Warehouse 17. The video glitched slightly, like it wasn't supposed to exist. They keep things there. Things? What kind of things? Information, files, leverage. That word again, leverage. She's not just part of it. A different voice suddenly echoed faintly in the background. She froze, looked behind her, then back at the camera. They're coming. Her voice dropped, lower, more serious. If you're still here, she leaned closer. Don't come alone. And then the screen went black, just like that. No explanation, no ending, nothing. I stood there, staring at the screen, trying to process everything. Warehouse 17, that was it. That was the first real lead. But it also meant one thing. This wasn't just dangerous. This was planned. By her. For me. Which meant she trusted me. Out of everyone, she chose me. And I wasn't about to let that go to waste. I grabbed my jacket. Didn't hesitate. Didn't think twice. Because now, I had a direction, a target, and a reason. This wasn't just about saving her anymore. This was about exposing everything. And whoever they were, whatever they were hiding, I was coming for it. Warehouse 17, that was all I had. No map, no backup, just a name and a warning. Don't come alone. Yeah, too late for that. By the time I got there, it was already dark. The kind of dark that makes everything feel wrong. Too quiet, too empty. Like the place itself was hiding something. The building stood alone. Old, abandoned, at least on the outside. But I knew better. Places like this, they're never empty. I stayed low, moved slowly, every step careful, watching, listening. Because if what she said was true, then they were watching too. Cameras, people, everything. I circled around first, looking for an entrance. There, a side door, half open, not locked. That wasn't a good sign. It meant one of two things. Either no one was here, or they wanted someone to come in. I took a breath, then stepped inside. Dark, cold. The air felt heavy, like I just walked into something I couldn't walk out of. I kept moving, quiet, careful. Then I heard it. Voices, distant, echoing through the building. I moved toward the sound, slowly, staying in the shadows, closer, closer, until I could see them. Two men, talking, guarding something. Not random, not careless. This place mattered. I looked around, and that's when I saw it. Cameras. Every corner, every angle. She wasn't lying. They were watching everything. Which meant I didn't have much time. I moved when they turned. Quick, silent, slipping past before they noticed. Deeper inside, the building got colder, quieter, more controlled, less abandoned, more hidden. Then I found it. A room. Steel door, locked, different from everything else. This was it. I could feel it. I checked the handle. Nothing. Locked tight. Of course. I stepped back, thinking there had to be a way in. Then I heard it again. Footsteps. Close. Too close. I moved instantly, back into the shadows, holding my breath. 2 more men walked past, talking. She's inside. My heart stopped. Inside. She was here. Right behind that door. Everything in me wanted to rush in, break it open, end it right there. But I couldn't. Not yet. Not like this. Because this wasn't just about getting to her. It was about getting out alive. I waited. Counted the seconds. Listened. Until the footsteps faded. Then I moved again. Closer to the door. And that's when I saw it. A keypad. Simple, but precise. No room for mistakes. I stared at it, thinking, what would she use? Not random. Never random. Something personal. Something only I would understand. Then it hit me. The rules. The first thing she ever said. No feelings. I entered the numbers, slowly, carefully. For a second, nothing happened. Then, a soft click. The door unlocked. I froze. Just for a moment, because this was it. No turning back. I pushed the door open, slowly, carefully, and stepped inside. The room was dim, cold, silent, and then I saw her, sitting there, alone. Not tied, not hurt, but not free. Her head lifted slowly. Our eyes met, and everything stopped. For a second, neither of us moved, neither of us spoke. Then she stood up, took 1 step closer, and whispered, "You shouldn't have come." Not relief, not fear, something else, something worse. Because in that moment, I realized something. Finding her was the easy part. Getting her out was going to be impossible. "You shouldn't have come." That was the first thing she said. Not "I'm okay," not "thank you," just that. And somehow, that hurt more than anything. "I'm getting you out," I said. Simple, direct, no hesitation. She shook her head immediately. "No, you don't understand." I stepped closer. Then explain it. But she didn't. Instead, she looked at me like she was running out of time. "They're watching," she whispered. "I know," I replied. "No," she said, sharper this time. "You don't." Something in her voice changed. Urgent, serious, different. "They're not just watching this place." She stepped even closer. "They're watching you." That made me pause, just for a second. But it was enough. From the moment you said yes to this job, her eyes locked into mine. You were already inside. Cold, heavy, final. I felt it immediately. That shift, that realization, this wasn't something I walked into tonight. This started the moment I met her. "Why?" I asked. "Because you were the only one they didn't control," she said. "And that made you useful." Useful, not special, not chosen, just useful. That hit harder than I expected. "But then," she continued softly, "you stopped being part of their plan." I frowned. What changed? She didn't answer right away, just looked at me. And this time, there was no distance, no mask, just truth. "You did." Silence, heavy, real. And for a second, everything made sense. This wasn't supposed to be real, but it became real. And that was the problem. A loud sound suddenly echoed outside. Footsteps, fast, too many. Her expression changed instantly. "They're here." I grabbed her hand. "Then we go, now." She didn't move. I pulled slightly. Still nothing. "Hey, this isn't a choice," I said. But she looked at me and slowly pulled her hand away. "Yes, it is." My chest tightened. "No, we're leaving, together." She shook her head again. And this time, there were tears in her eyes. "They won't stop," she said. "Not if I disappear. Then we don't let them find us." "You still don't get it," she whispered, her voice breaking. "They don't need to find us." She stepped back. They just need to press a button. That froze me completely. What are you talking about? She didn't answer with words. Instead, she reached into her sleeve and pulled something out. Small, metal, a device. My heart dropped instantly. No, they gave it to me a long time ago, she said quietly. A failsafe. For what? In case I ever tried to run. Silence. Dead silence. They'll erase everything, she continued. Accounts, identities, anyone connected to me. Her eyes locked onto mine again, including you. That was the real threat, not death. Erasure. Like we never existed. Like none of this ever happened. Then we destroy it, I said. Immediate. Desperate. She gave a small, sad smile. You can't. Footsteps got louder. Closer. Time was running out. Come on, I said again. Please. For the first time, I wasn't trying to be strong. I was asking. Begging. But she just looked at me, like she already made her decision. This was never your fight, she said softly. It became mine the moment they took you. That made her pause, just for a second. Then she stepped closer, one last time, and kissed me. Not rushed, not desperate, just real. And that made it worse, because I knew this was goodbye. They can't control what I choose, she whispered. Then, she pressed the button. Everything went silent. Lights flickered. Systems shut down. Voices outside turned into chaos. Shouting, running, confusion. What did you do? I asked. My voice barely there. She stepped back. Tears falling now. I gave you a way out. That wasn't what it felt like. It felt like losing her. Again. No, come with me, I said. But she was already shaking her head. They'll come for me, she said. But not for you. Footsteps were right outside now, seconds away. You have to go. I'm not leaving you. You have to. This time, her voice didn't break. Mine did, for a moment. We just stood there, looking at each other, knowing this was it. Then the door behind me slammed open. Voices, lights, chaos. And in that moment, she made the choice for both of us. She pushed me back. Hard. Run. And this time, I couldn't stop it. I was forced out, pulled into the darkness, into the noise, into the escape I didn't want. The last thing I saw was her, standing there, not scared, not broken, just still, as they took her. Again, I made it out. Somehow, I don't remember how. I don't remember when, just that I did, and she didn't. Days passed, then weeks, no trace, no news, nothing, like she never existed, like all of it was erased, just like she said. But sometimes, late at night, I still hear her voice. Trust me. And I wonder if this was really the end, or just the part of the story they wanted me to believe.